Outliers by Malcom Gladwell. Well, the first thing you must be wondering is, what on earth is an outlier? Well, the book says that an outlier, which is a noun, is something that is situated away from or classed differently from a main or related body. Some outliers include Steph Curry, who is very well known inside of the NBA for his three-point shot, Steve Jobs, who is the founder of Apple, and the book gives the example of the Beatles, who are very well known for their music. And so, a outlier is basically a person or a group of people that stand outside of the crowd. So, the question you might be asking is, what does it take to be an outlier? Or how can I become an outlier? Well, first off, let's just say that the odds of becoming an outlier are very, very low. You can't just become an outlier out of pure talent. You have to have at least 10,000 hours of practice to become world class at something. So let's just plug that into the calculator. 10,000 divided by 24 hours in a day equals 416 days. So we divide that by a year, and that's 1.14 years. That is a lot of time. Now we're going to talk about a popular success story about the man named Bill Gates. And for those of you who haven't seen some of my presentations before, I like to use a bulldog stuffed animal just to represent pretty much every main character, so just heads up for that. This is Bill Gates. He was the founder of Microsoft Computer Company. Bill Gates was born on October 28th, 1955. In Seattle, Washington. And the mid-1950s was the perfect time for a computer programmer to be born, because that's when computers were going to be starting to improve. He went to Lakeside School, which was one of the only schools in the country that had a time-sharing computer. And that means that if he had all the money he needed, he and his friends could program as much as he wanted. So his parents got together and started doing a fundraiser for them. From that moment on, Gates pretty much lived in the computer room and would go there pretty much every day to learn how to use the new computer systems. Eventually, though, he and his friends ran out of money, so they needed to find another way to access computers instead of using the computers that were at the Lakeside Computer Club. Then one of the parents, whose name was Monique Rona, started with a couple of other people a company called C-Cube, which was a computer company that allowed Bill Gates and his friends to work on the computers during the weekends and weeknights to test out new software. Eventually, though, C-Cube went bankrupt and was no more. It was then that Bill Gates started hanging around the University of Washington, where he eventually latched on to a thing called the ISI, also known as the Information Sciences Inc., which agreed to let them have free computer time in exchange for working on a piece of software that could be used to automate company payrolls. In one 7-month period in 1971, Gates and his cohorts ran up 1,575 hours of computer time on the ISI mainframe, which averages out to 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. Then one of the founders of ISI, Bud Pembroke, got a call from the technology company TRW, which had just signed a contract to set up a computer system at the huge Bonneville Power Station in southern Washington state. They needed programmers familiar with the particular software the power station used. So they hired Bill Gates and his friend Paul Allen to help program the new station. All of these extraordinary opportunities did one thing. They gave Bill Gates all the time he needed to practice. And that is what Malcom Gladwell here is trying to prove. It's that no matter how good your natural skill is, the world is kind of what makes you an outlier. All the chances you get, all the opportunities you receive. And I would say that Malcom Gladwell is kind of the main character, and while he does not have much of a character arc per se, he does develop his point throughout the book. Now is everyone's favorite time, citations! Yay! These are all of the citations I used for the videos during the making of this project. So, there you go.